The night air was thick with tension as Michael sat alone in his office, the glow of monitors casting harsh light on his tired face. The stock ticker bled red, and with each drop, his breath grew shorter. His company, once his pride, was collapsing in real time. He whispered, "This can't be happening." He reached for his phone, dialing his wife Anna, but hesitated when he saw her smiling photo. Michael's obsession with business had driven them apart, and now he faced losing both his company and his marriage. The city outside buzzed with life, oblivious to his despair. He thought of the loans, the promises, the sleepless nights. His mentor had warned him about greed, but he ignored it. Now betrayal and ruin surrounded him. The phone buzzed with messages from investors demanding answers. Michael clenched his fists. His empire was dying, and the cost might be his family. The morning sun pierced through Michael's office blinds, yet the brightness brought no relief. He had not slept. His wife Anna entered quietly, carrying untouched breakfast. She whispered, "You need to rest," but he barely looked up. The numbers haunted him, flashing like a cruel reminder of failure. The marriage that once thrived on laughter now suffocated in silence. Anna's eyes were tired too, shadows beneath them mirroring his. She placed the tray down, her hands trembling. Michael muttered, "If I stop now, everything falls apart." The narrator revealed how love and ambition clashed within these walls. The desk, once a place of dreams, was now a battlefield where Michael fought both financial ruin and emotional collapse. At noon, Michael stood before a mirror in the company restroom, gripping the sink. His reflection looked like a stranger, tired eyes, hollow cheeks, suit rumpled beyond repair. He whispered, "You built this from nothing, don't let it die." His sidekick, Daniel, entered, a loyal friend who always believed in him. Daniel said, "You can't keep burning yourself like this." Michael snapped, "If I stop, we lose everything." The narrator explained how Daniel's loyalty clashed with Michael's obsession. No. Even friendship was cracking under pressure. The fluorescent lights hummed above, amplifying the suffocating atmosphere of desperation. Later that day, Michael attended a meeting with his investor, Richard. The conference room was pristine, glass walls overlooking the city. Richard, confident and commanding, leaned back in his chair, eyes sharp. He said, "I want results, or I pull my money." Michael's pulse quickened, his future hanging on those words. The narrator revealed how power shifted in that moment, the investor's wealth against Michael's desperation. Pride and fear collided inside him, and he forced a smile, promising what he was unsure he could deliver. That night, Michael returned home. The house was quiet, almost foreign. Anna sat at the dining table, staring at untouched food. She said softly, "You're losing us, Michael." His chest tightened, the words cutting deeper than financial ruin. He wanted to explain, to justify the sacrifices, but nothing came. The narrator described how the walls of their home, once filled with warmth, now echoed with emptiness. Every dollar earned felt like a brick between them. He reached for her hand, but she pulled away. His empire was collapsing, and so was his marriage. Michael sat in his childhood bedroom, the walls still covered with fading posters of dreams long past. He whispered, "I always wanted to make them proud." The narrator revealed how his story began here, in modest origins. His father, once a factory worker, had instilled discipline, while his mother worked double shifts to keep food on the table. Anna's voice echoed in memory, "You're still that boy chasing approval." His underdog journey was rooted in relentless ambition, built not on wealth but sacrifice. The glow of the small lamp illuminated boxes of old bills and college rejection letters. His eyes filled with both pride and shame, remembering how far he had come, and how far he could still fall. The next morning, Anna prepared breakfast in their kitchen, sunlight spilling across the counter. She smiled faintly, recalling better days. Michael entered quietly, his shoulders slumped. Anna said, "You don't even see me anymore." He froze, unable to answer. The narrator explained how their bond, once unshakable, now fractured under weight of late nights and silence. Her voice trembled, We built this together, but you're tearing us apart alone. The eggs on the plate went cold as Michael's mind drifted back to business. Every pause between them grew heavier. The kitchen felt less like home and more like a battlefield of unspoken words. In a quiet cafe, Michael met his mentor, William. Once a financial legend, now a man marked by regret. William's silver hair gleamed under dim lights. William said, "I lost everything by believing I was untouchable." Michael leaned forward, desperate for answers. The narrator revealed how William's tragic fall mirrored Michael's current path. His words were bitter yet full of truth. The market eats pride for breakfast. Michael thought of Anna and the empire slipping from his hands. He asked, "How do I survive this?" William's reply was a weary sigh. "Decide what matters most before the world decides for you." At the office, Daniel approached Michael with urgency. Papers filled with debt, figures spilled across the desk. Daniel said, "You need to tell her the truth, she deserves it." Michael snapped, "Not now, we're on the brink." The narrator revealed how loyalty clashed with deception. "Anchanda." Daniel's voice cracked, "She's not losing just money, she's losing you." Michael's silence was louder than words. The financial stakes consumed every ounce of energy, but the cost to his marriage was hidden in plain sight. The office walls seemed to close in, filled with tension and unspoken truths that threatened to break trust. That evening, Michael and Anna sat in their living room. The television flickered with muted news of another financial collapse, but silence filled the space between them. Anna said softly, "Do you even notice me here anymore?" Michael whispered, "I'm trying to save us." The narrator revealed how love and ambition collided. Her eyes longed for a husband, not a CEO. The wedding photo on the wall felt like a ghost of happier days. Anna's hand brushed the couch arm, aching for connection, but she pulled back. Michael stared at the screen, lost between fear of ruin and the fear of losing her. Michael sat in the boardroom, surrounded by tense faces of his team. The numbers on the projector revealed losses deeper than expected. He clenched his jaw and said, "We can't afford another failure." The narrator explained how debts spiraled, swallowing every attempt to stabilize. Daniel muttered, "Suppliers are threatening to pull out." Michael's chest tightened, his empire hanging by threads. He stared at the polished table, reflection fractured like his hope. The room felt suffocating, every breath heavy with despair. Pride kept him from admitting the truth, but inside he feared collapse was no longer a possibility. It was a certainty. Later that day, Michael confronted Richard in the investor's office. Richard leaned back with a sly smile, tapping his pen against the desk. He said, "You either cut your staff or I cut my funding." Michael's fists curled, but he forced composure. The narrator revealed how power had shifted completely. Richard's wealth against Michael's desperation. Pride battled with survival, and silence hung heavy. Michael whispered, "There has to be another way." Richard's reply was a cruel smirk. "Business doesn't wait for sentiment." The office felt colder than steel, every word cutting like a blade. That evening, Michael found Anna in their bedroom, folding laundry in silence. He said, "I need you to trust me." She paused, her hands trembling, and whispered, "You're losing us in the chase." The narrator described how the marriage, once bound by laughter, now cracked with bitterness. Anna's tears slid down her cheek, reflecting years of sacrifice unnoticed. Michael turned away, consumed by numbers more than love. The room grew heavier, shadows long across the walls. Every word left unspoken was a nail in the coffin of their bond. He closed his eyes, but the silence screamed louder than her sobs. At midnight, Michael sat alone reviewing documents when Daniel stormed in. He dropped a folder, filled with hidden agreements. Daniel said, "Richard's been bleeding you dry." Michael's face froze, disbelief and rage colliding. The narrator revealed betrayal lurking in plain sight, contracts rigged against him, traps set from the start. Michael's voice shook, "Why didn't I see it?" Daniel replied, "Because you trusted the wrong man." The silence afterward carried the weight of every mistake. Shadows from the desk lamp stretched like claws, gripping the walls. For Michael, the lies felt endless, choking the last breath of hope. The next morning, Michael visited his parents' graveyard. Kneeling on the cold ground, he whispered, "I'm losing everything." His voice broke as memories of their sacrifices surged. The narrator revealed how desperation and grief merged, leaving him hollow. Anna's words haunted him, Daniel's warning echoed, and Richard's threat loomed. He pressed his hand against the stone, trembling. Birds flew overhead, indifferent to his torment. He muttered, "I don't know how much longer I can fight." The graveyard's silence mirrored his isolation. Every decision now was a gamble between salvation and absolute ruin. Daniel barged into Michael's office, holding fresh documents uncovered from an internal source. His voice trembled. Richard engineered the entire collapse. Michael's blood ran cold as the narrator revealed the magnitude of betrayal. Richard had siphoned profits, disguised as legitimate fees, slowly draining the company. Michael's body tensed, the walls of the office closing in. He whispered, "I trusted him with everything." Daniel said, "He's been playing you like a pawn." The betrayal was not just business, it was personal, cutting deeper than numbers. Michael felt his empire crumble a second time, but now with anger fueling despair. Michael met the whistleblower, Emily, in a dim parking garage. A former accountant in her late 30s, she slid him a flash drive. Emily said, "This proves Richard's fraud." Her eyes darted nervously, shadows hiding fear. The narrator revealed how truth clawed its way to light, but danger lurked close. Michael asked, "Why risk everything to help me?" Emily's reply was steady, "Because someone has to stop him." The echoes of footsteps around them made the moment feel fragile, as if danger was only steps away. Michael clutched the drive, knowing this could save him or destroy him faster. That night, Michael sat with William, his mentor, in the cafe where old warnings still lingered. William said bitterly, "I told you, the system eats men alive." Michael slid the flash drive across the table, whispering, "I have proof now." The narrator revealed how William's eyes filled with reluctant respect, but also sorrow. His own fall was painted across every wrinkle. He muttered, "Truth won't save you, it'll destroy you faster." Michael's resolve hardened. He replied, "Then let it destroy me, but not my family." In the silence, William's nod carried the weight of experience and tragedy. Back home, Anna found Michael staring at the flash drive. She asked softly, "What's that?" His throat tightened. He confessed, "Proof of the man who's destroying us." The narrator described how honesty pierced their silence like a fragile blade. Anna's eyes brimmed with tears, torn between hope and exhaustion. She whispered, "I don't want proof. I want you." Michael reached for her hand, but hesitation lingered. Their marriage, battered by secrets, now faced the truth at last. The flash drive gleamed faintly on the table, symbolizing both salvation and the wedge that nearly shattered them forever. The next morning, Michael stood at the window of his office, flash drive in hand, watching the city wake. The narrator revealed how the choice ahead defined everything: expose Richard and risk collapse, or stay silent and rot from within. His reflection in the glass was fractured, half in shadow, half in light. Anna's words echoed, Daniel's loyalty burned, William's warning haunted him. He whispered, "This ends today." The weight of every decision pressed on his chest. The flash drive felt heavier than stone, carrying his future, his marriage, and the last shred of his dignity. Michael stormed into Richard's skyscraper office, the flash drive clenched in his fist. Richard leaned back in his leather chair, smiling coldly. Michael's voice cut through the silence, "I know what you did." The narrator revealed the moment of confrontation, where pride, greed, and betrayal collided in one room. Richard laughed. "Proof means nothing without power." Michael's pulse raced, but anger steadied his voice. "Then I'll make sure the world sees it." The weight of years of sacrifice bore down on both men. Every word, every gesture was a gamble that could end Michael's career, or ignite his redemption. Richard stood, circling Michael like a predator. His words dripped venom. You were always weak. Family men make terrible businessmen. Michael's jaw clenched, but his mind echoed with Anna's words. I don't want proof, I want you. The narrator revealed how every insult was a blade, pushing him closer to breaking. Michael's voice cracked. Maybe I was weak, but at least I still have something worth fighting for. Richard sneered. Then you'll lose it all. The room vibrated with tension, as if the walls themselves absorbed the storm. This was no longer business, this was survival. That evening, Michael placed everything on the line. In a high-stakes meeting with shareholders, he connected his laptop to the projector. The flash drive glowed faintly in his hand before he clicked it in. His voice trembled but grew firm. You need to see the truth. The narrator revealed how silence spread across the room as files loaded, showing Richard's fraudulent schemes. Gasps erupted, chairs scraped the floor, tension splitting the air. Michael's chest pounded as he said, This is the man you've trusted. For the first time in years, he felt the power shift. Not through wealth, but through truth. Richard erupted, slamming his hand on the table. His voice roared, This is slander. Michael stood taller, fire in his eyes, replying, It's evidence. The narrator revealed how chaos consumed the room, with voices clashing, power unraveling. Daniel rose from his chair, standing beside Michael, his loyalty firm. Anna's image flashed in Michael's mind, the anchor keeping him steady. For once, fear did not control him. Conviction did. The boardroom shook with fury, but Michael's voice cut through, clear and unwavering. You nearly destroyed me, but you won't destroy what's left. As security escorted Richard from the building, Michael collapsed into his chair, body trembling from adrenaline. The narrator revealed the emotional peak, victory laced with exhaustion. Anna entered quietly, her eyes searching his. For the first time in months, he reached for her hand without hesitation. She whispered, You came back to me. Michael's chest heaved, torn between relief and guilt. He had won the fight, but the cost lingered heavy. The city lights outside shimmered, reflecting both triumph and scars. Michael knew this was not the end, but for now, it was survival. The boardroom was empty now, except for Michael and Daniel. Michael stared at the empty chairs, the silence deafening. He whispered, It's over, but at what cost? The narrator revealed how victory felt hollow, the price of truth weighing heavier than any debt. Daniel placed a hand on his shoulder, saying softly, You stood up when it mattered. Michael's eyes filled with exhaustion, knowing battles remained ahead. For the first time, he allowed himself to breathe, but the air was heavy, full of both relief and regret. The empire was saved, yet broken pieces lingered everywhere. Later that night, Michael returned home to Anna. She sat at the dining table, eyes swollen from tears. He sat across from her, voice trembling. I almost lost you. The narrator revealed how honesty, long buried, finally broke through. Anna whispered, All I ever wanted was you, not the empire. Their eyes locked. Years of silence finally cracked open. The table between them felt like a canyon, but a fragile bridge began to form. Michael's chest tightened as he reached for her hand, this time not with hesitation, but with need. Their marriage, scarred, found its first spark of repair. The next morning, Michael gathered his employees. They sat weary, unsure of their futures. He stood before them, voice steady, We've been deceived, but we will rise again. The narrator revealed how leadership was reborn, not from pride, but humility. Faces lit with cautious hope as Michael vowed transparency and fairness. Daniel watched with quiet pride, knowing this was the man he had always believed in. Michael's words echoed through the hall, This company is more than numbers. It's people. The applause was soft, hesitant but real. Redemption began here in fragile unity. That evening, Michael visited William one last time. The cafe smelled of coffee and regret. William looked tired, but smiled faintly. He said, You did what I never could. The narrator revealed how mentor and student shared a silent bond of survival. Michael replied, "Your warning saved me more than you'll ever know." William raised his cup in quiet respect, eyes glistening. Their paths had diverged, but the lessons endured. The night hummed with melancholy as Michael walked out, carrying the weight of both victory and warning into his future. Michael and Anna sat on their porch as dawn broke. The world was quiet, the city distant but alive. Anna leaned her head on his shoulder. She whispered, "Maybe we can start again." Michael's eyes closed, a tear slipping down his cheek. The narrator revealed how love, fractured but resilient, began stitching itself back together. The empire might recover or it might not, but in this moment, they had something worth more than wealth. Michael murmured, "As long as I have you, I can face anything." The sunrise painted their silence with fragile hope. Michael stood on the balcony of his office tower, the city stretching endlessly below. He whispered, "I almost lost everything." The narrator revealed how triumph felt hollow, burdened by scars both financial and emotional. Anna's forgiveness lingered fragile, their love bruised but breathing. The skyline glowed with promise, yet also with warning. He thought of William's warnings, Daniel's loyalty, Emily's courage. Every person had shaped his journey. He exhaled sharply, realizing survival was not victory. It was a chance to begin again. His story, once driven by ambition, now balanced on love and humility. At home, Anna prepared dinner in silence until Michael walked in. He said softly, "I don't want to lose us again." She paused, then replied, "Then stop fighting for the world and fight for us." The narrator revealed how love, fractured by ambition, began to rebuild with raw honesty. Michael approached slowly, placing his hand over hers. Their silence spoke louder than any promises. For the first time in months, the air felt lighter, fragile but alive. Anna's faint smile carried the weight of hope, not certainty, but sometimes, hope was enough. The next day, Michael addressed his employees once more. His voice no longer carried pride, but humility. He said, "We will rebuild together, not for profit alone, but for the people who believed in us." The narrator revealed how trust, once shattered, began to heal. Faces of weary workers softened, applause rising not in celebration, but in solidarity. Daniel smiled faintly, knowing this was the Michael he always hoped to see. For the first time, Michael felt like a leader, not of an empire, but of people bound by loyalty and truth. Later that evening, Michael walked through the quiet cemetery once more. Kneeling at his parents' grave, he whispered, "I almost failed, but I finally listened." The narrator revealed how his journey had come full circle. Ambition replaced with perspective, pride tempered with humility. The wind carried leaves across the ground, as though even nature acknowledged the change within him. His voice steadied. "I'll honor you not with wealth, but with who I become." Rising from the ground, Michael felt lighter, carrying scars but also strength. The story closed with Michael and Anna sitting together on their porch as night fell. Stars emerged above, their silence comfortable, no longer heavy. Anna leaned against him, whispering, "We're still here." Michael replied, "That's all I need." The narrator revealed how victories were fleeting, but love endured. Though scars would remain, they became reminders of survival. The empire might rise or fall again, but this moment belonged to them, unshaken by greed or betrayal. The night air was calm, the world still, as if time itself gave them peace.